So welcome to this section where we're going to be starting up the Spring Boot project for the first time in IntelliJ. So now before we do that, we first have to configure the Java SDK for the project. Now you maybe have like a JDK installed on your machine, but maybe you don't. But in IntelliJ it's really easy to download a JDK using the IDE. So all you have to do is go up here in this menu here, and you want to click on Project Structure. Now, when you get to this menu, if you don't have any JDK on your machine, you're probably not going to have anything here under SDK. But all you need to do is just click Download JDK, and it's going to bring up this menu where you can choose the version. In this case, we're using Java 21, and you can choose one of the distributions here or one of the vendors for the JDK. After you've chosen one, you just click download and it's going to get downloaded, and then you can select it here to use that JDK for the project. In this case, because we created a project and we're going to be using Java 21, that's why I'm choosing the Java 21 JDK. So just click that one and just click apply and OK. And like that, you're set with the JDK, and now you're actually going to be able to start up the application. So now maybe you would get like a load Maven projects here, but to click a button if the Maven project is not recognized, it's gonna get recognized, but maybe it's not gonna get loaded. So you might get the load Maven projects button, and you have to click yes on that or click load. But other than that, this is what you get right out of the box with the Spring Initializer. So you're gonna get a POM XML here, like a root directory. The POM XML is where all of the Maven things are specified and configured. Some of the things that we entered previously on the initializer are going to be written here, like the group ID, the artifact ID, the name, the description, and then the Java version is right here. And then as you can see, the initial dependency that we've added, that's the Spring Boot Starter web dependency. So that's also added here as, that's added here as a dependency. So the Spring Initializer creates our POM file, and that's the dependency that's currently added here. The next thing that we get is the source directory, where we have a main directory and a test directory. Now test usually would be where we would write our unit tests. And the main directory contains a Java directory where there's the package, and then in the package there's just one class, which is the entry point of the application, where the application starts. So there's this tutorial application, which is annotated with a Spring Boot application annotation, which signifies that this is the class where the Spring Boot application starts up with its main method. So this is the entry point of the application. And there's another directory here, that's the resources, which has like a static and a templates folder, and it has the application.properties file. Now this application properties file is a file where we specify configurations for certain libraries, or we specify our own properties that the application is going to be using. Now this file can be a YAML or a .properties file. They both work the same. Obviously the syntax is different, but for now, we're going to be using the .properties extension, but it can be a YAML file, but we're going to talk about that later. In order to start up our application for the first time, we basically can go here on this play button, and for now, we're not going to start it with the run, we're going to start it with the debug. And once you click that, the project is going to get built, and it's going to start up the application, and we should get in the console the info that the application is started. So if we go in the console, you can see the Spring application is starting. So I'm just gonna cancel on that. And as you can see, the Tomcat has been initialized on port 8080. That's the default port for the Spring Boot application. It's starting using Java 21. And as you can see, Tomcat started on port 8080, and the application has started in 4-point-something seconds. So that's basically what we've got. So we've got the first Spring Boot application running in IntelliJ started up, and we can go to the next section where we're going to be writing our first endpoint and testing it out. Because like this, we don't really have anything mapped. We just have an application that's started up and it's listening on port 8080, but we don't really have any route currently that we can access. But that's going to be it for this section. In the next section, we're going to be talking a little more about the endpoints and how to write our first endpoint.